We finally have a proper keyboard phone in 2026. This phone not only has a full keyboard, but it is shipping with Android 16 and 5 years of software support, a premium aluminum frame, an OLED display, and even a dual camera setup with a telephoto lens. IMO, this is the Titan 2 Elite, and it has been a long time since I've been this excited about a phone release. Since most phones look the same these days, I usually skip design, but this time we have to make an exception. The phone is very compact. The height is roughly 2/3 of a Galaxy S26 Ultra, while the width is closer to phones like the Ultra or an iPhone Pro Max. It only weighs 168 grams, which is impressive. The phone has a 4-inch AMOLED display, unlike previous models that used LCD. AMOLED screens are more power efficient and offer better contrast and overall image quality. The display goes up to 120 Hz, reaches around 1600 nits peak brightness, and surprisingly has 2160 Hz PWM dimming, something neither Apple nor Samsung offer right now. The selfie camera is tucked neatly into the corner, and thankfully, there is no large branding on the front camera anymore. The frame is made out of aluminum and feels premium in hand. It comes in two colors, orange and black. On the side, there is a red programmable button next to the power button. On the other side, you get the volume buttons and the SIM card tray. On the back, there is a dual camera setup, and on top you even get an infrared sensor. There is a single speaker and a USB-C port, but no headphone jack. And of course, the main highlight is the full physical keyboard. It feels great to type on and honestly reminds me of classic BlackBerry keyboards. It is not just for typing either. You can use it as a trackpad substitute. You can swipe across the keyboard to scroll through pages or move the cursor, which is extremely useful given the smaller touchscreen. I find myself using the keyboard a lot for navigation because it is often easier than reaching up to the screen. The only complaint I have is that sometimes it takes a second for the swipe gesture to register at the beginning, but once it kicks in, it works really well. There's a circular button at the bottom of the keyboard that works as the home button. Next to it, you have a back button, which does exactly what you expect, and a rectangular button for opening recent apps. I actually use that one a lot. Open recent apps, and then just swipe left and right on the keyboard to switch between them, which feels surprisingly natural after a while. The keyboard also has important modifier keys like Alt, Shift, System, and Function, and these really speed things up. For example, you can hold Alt and press J to type a hashtag, or double tap Alt to switch into numbers and type quickly without hunting for them. It feels a bit like using a mini laptop once you get used to it. You can also map shortcuts to the keyboard, which is honestly one of the best parts. For example, I map it to a short press on Y can open YouTube, and a long press on C can launch the camera. You can customize pretty much any key with both short and long press actions, so you can really tailor it to your own workflow. The keyboard has a black light as well. It turns on automatically when you start typing, or you can activate it with a long swipe across the keyboard. The phone comes in two variants. Yeah, the naming is a bit confusing. It's powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 and comes with 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. The standard Titan 2 Elite uses the Dimensity 7400, also with 12GB of RAM but 256GB of storage. The Titan 2 Elite is scheduled to ship in June, while the Pro version will arrive later in October, so if you want the more powerful one, you will have to wait a bit longer. That said, when I go into system info, it actually shows the Dimensity 7300X, which is very close to the 7400, so it is a bit unclear what's really going on there. Anyway, in Geekbench on the Titan 2 Elite non-Pro, at least on my unit, I got 1045 for single core and 3151 for multi-core. The battery capacity is 4005 mAh, which is actually pretty solid considering the small display. Charging speed is 33 watts. I'm planning to use this phone more for a while and do a long-term review, so stay tuned and subscribe for that video. The Titan 2 Elite also includes all the essential sensors: GPS, NFC, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, plus an infrared blaster and full 5G support. It supports dual SIM cards and even eSIM, which is nice to see on a niche device like this. For unlocking, there is a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, and the phone also supports face unlock. On the camera side, you get a dual setup, a main wide and a telephoto, both 50 megapixel. But realistically, don't expect flagship level performance here since the sensors are quite small. Because of that, the phone struggles a bit with light capture even in decent conditions. Colors can feel a bit off, and photos tend to be contrasty with a slightly nostalgic, almost film-like vibe, which can actually be kind of charming. That said, there is noticeable over-sharpening, which is typical for more budget-oriented cameras. You will also see some overexposure at times, like in this indoor shot. The telephoto camera is usable for portraits, and while the results are not amazing, they do have a certain character to them. The selfie camera is also nothing special, but it is perfectly fine for quick shots or video calls. Alright, let's check the microphone quality next. Now I'm testing the microphone quality and also the selfie camera. The selfie camera is not the best out there, but honestly, who uses selfie cameras anyway? Yeah.
I am.
Maria just reacted to what I said. I'll upload more photos in Google Drive and put it in the members area. If you want to support the channel, consider clicking on join to become a member. Regarding software, it supports everything you need since it is running Android 16. I didn't run into any limitations. Google services and Google Pay work without any issue. The most important part is the update policy. It is getting 5 years of software updates, which is honestly great news, especially for a niche device like this. The operating system itself is a very clean vanilla version of Android. There is no real bloatware or heavy skin on top. You can swipe from the left side to access notifications and from the right side to access quick settings. You can use Gemini just like other modern Android phones too. Overall, it feels smooth and responsive, and combined with the Diemsnity Processor, I didn't experience any major lag or bugs during my time with it. One thing to keep in mind is the rectangular screen. For texting, browsing and general use, it is actually quite comfortable. Navigating through apps and typing with the keyboard feels natural, and even watching YouTube videos is manageable, even though you get a bit less screen real estate. Where it gets tricky is with vertical content and apps that aren't optimized for this unusual aspect ratio. Most apps are designed for standard smartphones displays, so sometimes things feel a bit off. There is a mini mode that forces apps into a more traditional aspect ratio, but I didn't really use it. In a weird way, the form factor actually helps cut down on doom scrolling. Overall, there really aren't many options if you want a physical keyboard phone in 2026, and the Titan 2 Elite is probably the best implementation we've seen in years. Even when I asked Gemini what the best keyboard phone is right now, this was one of the top suggestions. If you want to see how it compares to the previous model, the Titan 2, you can check out that video next. Thanks for tuning into TechMo, and I will see you in the next one.